Betty's. This is PJ Gatch, Senior Style and Beauty Editor at Beauty Confidential. I'm at Sephora on 34th Street, Midtown Manhattan. It's a gorgeous Saturday. We're here with Brian Granoff from Tarte. Hey, Brian.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm Brian Granoff. I'm the Senior Regional Education Manager at Tarte, based out of here in Brooklyn, New York. And today I'm going to be showing you some different looks using the new Tarte Starlit palette, which is actually pre-launching today. This is the first time this palette's ever seen. Right here at 34th Street today.
It's gorgeous.
It is. So I'll be teaching you an easy way to create a nice on-trend look for fall into holiday using the palette and using some other Tarte products to recreate an easy, natural look that you can do in seconds any day you want. So
awesome.
Let's start.
Let's get started.
All
okay.
Right. I just love this palette too. Like the packaging is amazing.
Oh, I love it because it's just absolutely gorgeous. You can take the makeup out, still use the makeup, but you have this very sexy jewelry box.
All the trays are removable. So at Tarte, we like to be as eco-friendly as possible. We like to say we're reducing our CO2 footprint one mascara at a time. So you could pop those trays out and reuse the jewelry box for your jewelry after you're done with your makeup.
The colors.
I know, it's amazing. At Tarte, we like to be known as high performance naturals. Everything at Tarte is so innovative. It's not just your plain old natural health food store kind of natural brand. It's high performance naturals. Amazing pigment, which you'll definitely see, and you'll see long wearing products as well.
Awesome.
An ingredient that we're going to start talking about actually is Amazonian clay, and Amazonian clay is actually in this clay pot liner. I'm actually using the clay pot liner in indigo to start off as an eyeshadow base.
Oh, really?
To use for our starlit powder. And you don't have to use a regular eyeshadow primer like a plain sheer one as an eyeshadow base always. You can use one that has opacity and color to it, and that's going to create more depth, more intensity. So what I'm going to do is take a thick line with the brush that it actually comes with, and I'm going to draw a thick line blending upward. Remember, it's a smoky eye, and rule number one, you want it to be smoky. A smoky eye doesn't always have to be complicated. So I'm just patting and blending it up, and that's the look we're doing today. Using a royal blue indigo base for a quick and easy smoky eye.
So this will make the shadow adhere longer, so you can do this in the same shadow will stay the same at 8 a.m. as it will at like 2 in the morning?
Exactly. That's the purpose of using the clay pot liner shadow as a base for your eyeshadow. It's going to help it to stick, not move, last all day. And a lot of people, they do a smoky eye starting from light to darker. What I'm doing is starting from darker to lighter and making that subtle, graduation of color so it looks smoky. Remember, smoky eye doesn't have to be complicated. So it's going to help it to adhere, stick, and not move. And it's also going to create this beautiful intensity to your look.
That's a really pretty color. And you could wear that by itself with just mascara.
Absolutely, absolutely. So once again, I'm just going to take the liner brush. This is the smudge side of the brush. The other side I'll use for the eyeliner underneath. And just blending up so there's no lines of demarcation.
Now when you're doing this, do you line under your lower lid as well, or is it better just to do the top?
Well, it depends. This is a smoky eye, and it depends how smoky you want to go. You can just do it on the top if you want a soft, simple smoky eye, or if you want a smoldering, dark eye, you can absolutely go underneath with this brush and go into the root of the lashes and then smudge it with this one.
So if I want to do a smoky eye for day, either for going to class or going to work, I would leave the bottom line alone and then just add the bottom line at night?
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. What I'm actually going to do is use the new Tarte liquid liner and do a really, really thin line right into the root of the upper lashes right here. And that's going to frame the eye and also be natural for a daytime look. So see, and also don't be afraid to use fingers. Fingers are a great tool that you can use to blend your products. So let's see, open your eyes. Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Even that by itself. Look, bam, look at her eyes. They're popping.
They really
already.
are, and that was just one little thing, and it didn't even take that long. Take a quick look in the mirror.
Exactly. Is that pretty?
It's a beautiful
And it's going to help your eyeshadow stick and last all day.
You know what's really good? You have these gorgeous green eyes, and the blue makes it pop. And the thing is, it's really not, that liner by itself is really, when you open your eyes, it's not dark, really dark. It's not like, oh my God,
Right.
scary. It's actually very, very pretty and really wearable.
Absolutely. You think blue, you might think, oh, I can't pull off blue on my eyes. It's how you apply it. You also don't have to necessarily do it all over the eye. You can just do a thin blue line and have a nice pop of on-trend color.
Now, there used to be a thing that people had very, very pale blue eyes.
Yes.
They would wear pale blue shadow.
Right.
And it never looked weird. It always looked kind of weird.
Right. I tend to go with contrasting colors. So I look at the color wheel and I go with what's across from the eye color. So for example, if someone does have blue eyes, what's across from the color wheel is orange. Orange might be a little too bright, but offshoots of orange, like a bronze, copper, those colors on a blue eye are going to be great. Her eyes are green. And you know, green, they're like greeny blue. Like they could really kind of go either way, I feel. For her, I feel like the blue is actually going to make her eyes look more green. Because blue isn't exactly the contrast color of green, but it is sort of away from green on the color wheel. I wouldn't go with the exact same color of the eyes. That is absolutely not going to give contrast.
So if you had, let's say, hazel eyes,
yes.
What would you go with hazel? What would you wear with hazel eyes?
Well, for an everyday natural look, I like going with a rose color, a pinkish color, even a purple. Those are going to be colors that are going to bring out the hazel eyes. But remember, for a smoky eye, you could have fun with it, explore, experiment. There really doesn't have to necessarily be rules with your eye makeup. Have fun with it. So if you notice, I'm taking the colors from the Starlit powder now, the palette now.
Now that's that
darker blue that you might look at them and say, that's the one I'm not going to wear.
Right.
However, that one is actually beautiful. I'm just lightly blending it on top of the clay pot shadow liner and blending upward. And I want to add, now that we're talking about these two products, both of these products have an ingredient called Amazonian clay, which is a huge part of our brand. Now, we call it Mother Nature's most perfect ingredient.
Okay, why?
It actually can read your skin. It can tell where you're dry and where you're oily, and it actually balances it all out, which is awesome.
Can I roll around in that?
I know, right? Like maybe take like baths in it,
yes.
or like sleep with like an Amazonian clay like infused blanket. But it doesn't have. It's just like such an incredible ingredient. Maureen, the creator of Tarte, Maureen Kelly, who is the everyday woman who actually created the cheek stain out of her one-bedroom apartment here in New York in 1999. She's done research for years and years, and she has never found an ingredient quite like Amazonian clay.
Now, if you have like a really bad T-zone, like a lot of women do, they have this horrendously oily forehead and oily nose. The rest of their face is either dry or normal. How would the Amazonian clay product, like, it would make it behave?
Well, it's amazing because say if you are putting on the Tarte Tinted Moisturizer, which we are going to do in a second, the Amazonian clay will actually read where you're dry and where you're oily. So if she's dry on the cheeks, it's going to hydrate. But if she's oily on the T-zone, like most people are, combination skin, it's going to absorb oil and mattify. It's going to do different things for different parts of your face.
What are you doing now? That's pretty.
Metallic is a big trend for holiday.
Right.
So you don't have to be scared of metallic always. Metallic could be added right under the brow, just for a little bit of a lift to brighten up the eye area and give a more finished, polished look. So just blending upward, and then sort of blending it into that darker color that I did on the lid. And it's going to give this smoky effect.
So the big secret, though, is to blend.
You know, it's definitely an important trick. I'm even blending with my finger the shadow with that color. and it really gives a graduation of color. Also, you can even have fun. Let's say, okay, we're doing the royal blue look here, but let's take a little bit of that purple and then go into the crease a little bit. And that's also gonna, look, see how that's going from dark blue into that purple?
Oh, and it's pretty. It actually,
Yes.
it looks really pretty together. I wouldn't think that that would, but it really,
Right.
it's really nice.
And this is why the Starlit palette is amazing, because you can create endless looks with so many different eyeshadows, and you can feel free to experiment and have fun. You know, if you buy a single or a duo, you can't have a lot of wiggle room to experiment.
Right.
With this one, you absolutely can.
So you really shouldn't be afraid of color.
Absolutely. I think, you know, it's all about placement too. You don't have to use it in a way where it's garish. You can
Right.
just use a little bit of color.
What's that? What are you
Right
putting on
now, I'm using the new Multiply liquid liner from Tarte. It actually has a lower level of the Tarte Lash Enhancer built in, so it's actually over time going to help to grow the eyelashes
And
help to make the appearance of lash length look longer.
And you're putting that right against the lash line?
Yes, liquid liner doesn't have to be this thick cat eye all the time. Liquid liner could be used in a way where you're just going right into the root of the lashes to really frame the eye and open. See how that black line pops the eye
Yeah.
and it frames the eye? And
You see
it
the eye, you don't see the liner.
Exactly, you see the eye, you don't see the liner. And that's the key. A liquid liner like the Tarte one is so fine. So you get a really
Let me
fine,
just see the, okay, that is,
yes.
yeah, that
And
really is.
right into the root of the lashes.
Now I noticed that you weren't doing a straight line, you're doing like dots.
Yes, I was just going in little tiny strokes. You know, maybe if you're skilled, you can do one long line, but it makes it easier to go in little strokes into the root of the lashes. That's where you want to aim when you're doing a liner, the root of the lashes.
Oh, not even
especially.
above, just the root.
You can if you want more of a dramatic look, but for this kind of look even that's smoky, I want the emphasis to be on the eyes, not on the eyeliner.
Okay.
So doing a thin line is going to make the lash line look fuller and make the eye pop.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it doesn't even look like eyeliner, it just frames her eye.
Yeah, it looks very natural, everything's blended.
So
it
next,
looks good.
Yeah, it looks all well together, and that's what you want your makeup to look good together. You don't want one necessarily to stand out more than another.
Right, like the 80s eyeshadow, where you can see where each shadow
Look down
was.
Before. Yes, exactly. We're not going for 80s eyeshadow this holiday season.
Even though they are trying to bring the 80s
Who knows?
back.
A little 80s fashion is fun, you know. I like a little 80s fashion. However, I think, you know, that in terms of makeup might not always be wearable for every single day.
Right.
And with Tarte, you can have that fun. You can do a natural look for daytime, but there's so many options in the Starlit palette that you can recreate fun looks or more dramatic looks as well. And that's why the beauty of a palette, you know, you get so many options.
Now I noticed that when you're doing the mascara,
Yes.
you're doing the wand straight up, not
Yes.
out but up. Why?
Yes, I'm lifting and wiggling like a violin. And what that does, it separates and it lengthens. The longer the stroke, the longer the lash. It's going to really maximize your lashes.
So if you lengthen and you wiggle, you won't need
Look
to
at
use
that.
false eyeliner. Oh my gosh.
She's so
Look at the
happy,
difference between
she's
this
crying.
eye and that. That is amazing.
It's so rich in pigment. You're not going to get this type of black, rich pigment from a natural brand usually. That's why Tarte is all about high performance naturals. If you notice, I'm also doing a little bit on the tops of the lashes.
Yeah,
which
why?
it is going to maximize your lashes. Why not? If you're coating the bottom, why not coat the top? You're going to get more volume from coating the top and more thickness.
Now, if you're doing this at home and you're doing your lashes yourself, how do you recommend to get them to like do it up, to wand it up?
On the tops of the lashes?
Well, when you, because like, it's
First
easy.
I would go down,
Uh-huh.
like by looking straight in the mirror, and then I would go and lift my head up, tilt it up a little bit, and go right into the base of the lashes, lifting and wiggling. Remember, the longer the stroke, the longer the lash. It's actually
cool.
quite easy. Just try to have a steady hand. If you need to maybe lean your elbow down to do it on the sink, then that's fine too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we actually at Tarte, do a lot of clinical studies. The Lights Camera Lashes is our #1 selling item in every retailer that we're in, and it's because it increases lash volume by 424%, and you can absolutely see that on our model. Looks great.
Okay.